Hey guys, in the last video, I was talking all about sarcopenia, that dreaded term that is all about age-related muscle loss. Just a quick recap. Sarcopenia happens primarily because of lifestyle, not just because we age. I don't think I made that point clear earlier. Meaning we start losing about 3 to 8% of our muscle tissue each decade after about 40 years of age. But we don't lose it just because we've gotten older. The process does start, but it's actually quite minimal. The real correlation to that loss, from what the science seems to support, is the lifestyles that we tend to participate in at about the age 40. We get our professional jobs, we sit a lot more, we don't do the things that we used to do. Matter of fact, I think I read a study several years ago that after about the age of 35, maybe 90% of Americans will never sprint again. And not because we can't, but because we sort of fall into these lifestyles and these new patterns of behavior that don't serve us. We sit far too much. So anyway, I talked about strength training, amongst other things, being one of the major and primary ways that we can hold on to our muscle tissue. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you some things that I would typically do in a workout. I'm just going to focus on 3 exercises today. One's going to be a squat, the other is going to be a lunge, and then finally, I'm going to perform a step up, just so that you guys can see how working these 3 muscles will have a huge impact on strengthening and adding muscle to your lower extremities. And at the very least, it will really slow the process down at which you might be losing muscle tissue in those areas. Without further ado, let's get right to it. All right, guys, we're back. And I'm going to show you the 3 exercises that I talked about. The number one is going to be a squat. So in this squat, I'm just going to get a wide base, feet wider than my hips. And I'm going to give you my profile so you can see what happens in the squat. My hips go back and then I stand. But what I want you to notice is my spine stays long. It's never rounded, it stays extended. So we're going to just squat, get those hips to transfer back, stand nice and tall, driving through your legs. It's not about trying to pull your way to the top like this with your shoulders, but just allow your legs to drive you up from the floor, transfer that weight back into the hips so that your feet stay flat to the floor. What you don't want to perform in a squat is allow your knees to go forward like that. This is incorrect. So is this. You want to be hips back, spine long, stand tall. And you can hold the bell here when you squat. You can have a bar that you place behind your head. It really doesn't matter so much. Use any variation that you choose, but use something where your ankle, your knee, and your hip all move as one, which means you'll be working the muscles of your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes, and even your spinal muscles as you go through this movement. The next movement is a step up. I'm using a really low step today because this is all I have access to. So that foot goes on and the weight stays on the lead foot. I lean in a little bit, press through that lead foot to stand up. I stay leaning forward as I drop down. So all the load stays on my lead leg. And you could alternate this if you wanted to, where I just alternate left, then right, and back to right and left. And I'm doing this, notice, very slow and very controlled. And what's wrong is to come back here. So I'm putting all the weight on the back foot and bouncing up. That's not the way you want to perform it. You want to keep the weight on the load foot that's on the box so it can drive you up into that elevation. And now the third exercise is a lunge. So you would take a step forward. You determine how low you want to go. Push off to come up. Notice when I come down, again, my spine remains long. My knee isn't going all the way out there. Not that that's wrong in some cases, but for purposes of this video, we want to keep that knee slightly behind the toes so that you can keep your heel on the floor, which is going to give you more stability and a much more solid base to push from. The lunge is still effective even if you only want to bend a little bit and push back, as opposed to someone with good range of motion and no joint limitations who might be able to go further. And you could also do a lunge to the side. And this could be done with or without weight. It all depends on where you are. And notice from the side, again, when I go down, hips are back, spine is long. I'm never rounded, and I'm not pushing that knee forward. Hip back, spine long, push back to the middle. All right, guys. That's it for the leg workout today. I hope that helped you get an idea of what type of exercises you do for your lower extremities. If you want to really keep sarcopenia at bay, like, subscribe, share this with a few friends, hit the notification bell so when that next video is ready and loaded, you'll be the first to get it. I'll see you next time.